Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with my Dress Up Darling Season 2 Episode 10 reaction. Alright, the previous episode we had Juju join us in the cosplay, and not only Juju but her sister as well. Both of them will be cosplaying one of the girls from the series, the game. I forgot the name. What was it called? Coffin or something like that, I think. Yeah. Um, so yeah, and now Gojo decided to play the game, to get a feeling of what the game is actually about. Before that, they also talked to Akira, and I think Akira elaborated on why she's uncomfortable in front of Marin, which they didn't tell us. Maybe we'll get to know later. And then Gojo went to Marin's place, and he couldn't go back home because I think the train stopped. So he was like, oh, mine was like, oh, stay here. Gojo was pretty freaked out, and he came up with the plan that, oh, you know what, um, it wouldn't be staying in some on the other person's house if I don't sleep. I'm not just gonna sleep. He buys a lot of energy drinks, which gives Marin a whole misunderstanding, and that's where it ended. So let's see what happens today. Let us begin. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference, and let's get started. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. So we're gonna do it. Right. Okay. Wow. Oh Lord. Oh my God. I will. Yeah. Right. Oh, good God. This is, bro. Well, he meant it literally. Yeah, you're brushing your teeth. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. This girl is just. Oh boy. Well, right. Oh, good God. Oh, wait, it's season one. Okay. Yeah? Wait, what? Hey, yo, this. Oh, Lord. Okay. Well, because you gave him a freaking what was it called? I forgot. Oh boy. Yeah. Bruh. Wow. Damn. Um, what's going on? Wait, is he? I was gonna say, is he? Does he wear contacts or something? Is that why he's? Okay, never mind. Oh Lord. Nah. Oh boy. He's like, wait, what is she talking about? Sure, whatever. Oh yeah, you're dieting, aren't you? I don't think that matters. Everything, anything fast food related will be. Oh, he's fallen asleep. Still playing. Obviously, he needs to stay awake. Well, I think it's this is where it starts changing. You know, it is a horror game. Oh, this is the whole Doki Doki Literature Cup. Yeah! Bruh. This is a whole, oh my god, things are changing now. Bro. Well, what did you expect? You heard that it's a horror game. Damn. Yo, okay, this is actually crazy. If you're reading the okay, wow. And this is not only a horror. This is very disturbing as well, like psychological. Oh my god. Well, I don't think you'll be able to sleep either way. Gojo's wide awake. He didn't need any energy drink to keep awake. Yeah, what are you oh no, she's gonna think of something else. Oh, she realized. Okay, that he yeah, there you go. Oh wow. Okay. Damn. Well, you right. Yeah. That's why they asked him to tell. Damn, so all of them were people she created. Damn, the hand cuts. That's why they were like, "Oh, you please tell us how you." Damn. Oh yeah. Yo. Oh, that's why. You know, like, what's her name? Juju was like, I don't want to do that. Like, she didn't say, but she felt disturbed when they were talking about the dinner scene. Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Oh Lord. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Damn. She's getting rejected in her imagination. Damn, she's making a whole scenario. Wow. Damn. She's thinking of a whole. Oh boy. Wait, what? When? Oh yeah, back then, in season one. I know. No, she's talking about herself, not someone else. Oh boy. What? 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 Ah, avoid eating. Oh. Yeah. Nah. Yeah. Mm. um. Oh. Is she really going to? Um. Oh my God, she backed out. She backed out midway. You know what? Good thing the train was going. You shouldn't confess when a train is going. Do not do that. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well. And that was today's episode. All right. So today we had half of the episode was like full of misunderstanding on mine's part, but mine went to sleep before anything happened, or obviously nothing would have happened. Still, she, in her mental scenario, what she thought was going to happen. Before anything, she just went to sleep, while Gojo had a whole experience of coffin, and he was like, "What the hell is going on here?" It's funny. It's like it makes sense. Like obviously, what did Gojo think? Like it's supposed to be a horror game. I think in the previous episode he mentioned something along the lines of like, "Oh, this is pretty cute." Like, like bro, you didn't you hear? Everyone said it's a horror game. The fact that it's so cute must be like the reason behind it must be something that like that yeah in the later parts is going to get more and more scarier. Like he definitely should have realized that something is definitely wrong. This is supposed to be a horror game. Why is it so cutesy? But yeah, obviously, this is his first time playing a game like this, so he probably didn't understand what the hell is supposed to happen in a horror game. Like maybe he thought like, oh, the atmosphere is like a little bit horrorish or something like that. Nothing that I couldn't handle. But oh boy, when when the horror games goes wrong, it goes wrong in a very different, like in a very different way. Especially like Japanese horror games are crazy. My God, it's, I don't know what to say. It has like a certain, now what's that word? It has a certain feel to it, like different from other horror games. Like it feels more creepier, and like the atmosphere, the ambience is is way more like disturbing than it usually is. And this is supposed to be like a like a visual novel style game. So like a lot of the things, like I feel like you have to kind of imagine in your head. Like they do give like CGs and stuff, but most of the stuff you have to like imagine. Like you have to read it and you have to imagine like, oh, this is probably what's happening. I don't know, which probably makes it even more of an authentic experience. Um, like because I don't know, because I feel like at the beginning everyone like this happened with me as well. I remember I wouldn't call it like a horror game, but I remember playing um yeah, I guess you can call it a horror game. For example, like I said, I don't know if I mentioned in the previous episode. I think I did, right? Corpse Party. Corpse Party was pretty freaky, but like Corpse Party still had like a little bit of a RPG style gameplay. Like it was like you had to move the characters and everything. As far as I can remember, that was Corpse Party, right? Or was that some other game? I don't remember, but like you could move the character in a like a little mini pixel style RPG, like style. It was like an RPG Maker game, so But I remember like playing a pure visual novel style horror slash like thriller game. I guess you could say, which was Higurashi. Um, and I remember like the original Higurashi, the visual novel, it didn't have voice acting, it didn't have many things, but like the music and the ambience of the game in itself was pretty freaky, especially in those type of sections. And yeah, it is a different type of experience. So and I have to say, like from the little that I have seen of this game, Coffin, yeah, the pixels art style, the characters, the whole atmosphere of like being like a nun in this place, and then when they reveal that, oh, he was actually, everything was like in her head, this was like trauma from her past. She was like eating like human remains, all the nuns remains, because she wanted to be with them, all those things back to back. Like yeah, it gets more freakier. So Gojo had an experience, and yeah, while all of this is going on, mine was just asleep. So that's that. And then we also had the ending part where Marin was thinking about confessing, but she didn't. She kind of backed out, but she made up her mind. She was like, all right, after this group cosplay, I'm going to confess, whatever happens. So that's the current situation. So another very good episode. So yeah, let's see how this goes. Now, let me talk about this episode properly now. First, let's talk about Marin and her misunderstanding. So obviously Marin had a whole misunderstanding when she saw Gojo buying energy drinks, but she saw like a different type of like an energy drink. Like on the right side that was, but obviously that wasn't what he bought. He bought the ones on the left, which is like normal energy drinks. So that was the reason for the whole misunderstanding, and she automatically assumed everything, and Gojo's words didn't really help. He said stuff in such a cryptic way. You know what? Not really. I wouldn't say he said anything in a cryptic way. I would say that the whole situation and misunderstanding from mine made her interpret his words in a more complicated manner than just interpreted literally. What did he say? He said, "I'm not going to sleep tonight." He literally meant that. Mine took it in a roundabout way. All the other things that he said as well was pretty literal. So it's not really Gojo's fault, I guess you could say. It was just Marin misunderstanding and looking too deep inside the words because of the whole misunderstanding she had. So yeah, that's the whole thing. And then obviously Marin was like getting ready and everything. And she was like in her head, she had like she was like playing all these scenarios and all, and the like her falling and Gojo kind of trying to see if she's okay, that also didn't help. She got even more embarrassed, and she was like, "Oh, can I eat something at least?" And there you go. As soon as she ate, yeah, she fell asleep. Wait a minute, just a minute. Yeah, so she ate and she just fell asleep immediately over there, which makes sense. Obviously, as soon as you food gets in your stomach, you feel sleepy, especially at night. So and she was already stressing too much about the whole situation, so she was tired as well, I guess. So she just fell asleep, and Gojo took her to her room. And Gojo was like, "You know what? Perfect timing. I'm not going to sleep. Let me just play the game." And oh boy, that was that was the wrong decision. The whole room was dark. Only the light from the screen was there, and this is where he was like, "Wait a minute, what type of conversation is this?" So the first weird part he found was that a dialogue where he was like, "Wait a minute, what is this? Would you shut up? Your voice is grating on my ears." And he's like, "Oh, what the hell?" Like the main character didn't seem like this type of a girl, like who would say something like that. It's a bit weird. And oh yeah, that's where it started. He thought that he made a mistake or something in one of the choices. So he's like, "Okay, let me just load the game." Oh, what is this? There's no load game. There's no save game at all. Everything's gone. Here we go. I don't want to remember. You know what? I don't know which game they took reference from to make this game. Like, this whole imaginary game. But obviously, I'm pretty sure like they probably took a little bit of, you know, what's that word? A little bit of like they kind of tried to do it the same way as Doki Doki Literature Club did. I don't know if there's other games before Doki Doki Literature Club who did this whole thing of like, this meta fourth wall breaking type of thing. This wasn't really meta in that sense, but the whole like load game. Oh, there's no load game. All the save game is gone. That kind of thing. It's not letting you load. That was obviously something I experienced in Doki Doki Literature Club. I do not remember if there has been any other game where I experienced something like that. Wait a minute, let me think. Has there been any other game like that I played which had this whole thing where the game deliberately stops you from using like the things that it has already provided you? For example, save and load is something that is like that is a must in every single game. It doesn't matter what game it is. It doesn't matter like if it's a visual novel, if it's a normal like like an action game, a AAA game, an indie game. Doesn't matter. Your game should always have a load and save option. If your game is like more than like I don't know, like more than like 30 minutes or something, without save load option, and yeah, it doesn't matter. So that is something that has been provided in every single game, and it's a feature that we take for granted. Like, oh, it's a game. It definitely has a save load option. So when they stop you, when the game deliberately stops you from accessing that, even though it has already provided you that like feature from the very beginning, that's pretty freaky. So I don't remember if there has been any other game like that except the Doki Doki Literature Club. Maybe I haven't played them, so I don't know, that have ever blocked your way of going to the load and save thing. This one was kind of like that, and as you can see here, the like load and the save option was done in a very unique way. It's remember and memorize. So basically, remember is loading and memorize is saving. Like, when you save a game, you're memorizing that part, basically. That's why memorize. And when you're remembering, it's loading. You're remembering something from the back. So remember means load, memorize means save. They did it in a very unique way, which is something that is, I think you can say it is very much like matching to the plot. For example, here you can see the main characters. They're like trying to, like, the main character, she's like trying to remember. She's, like, so that's why remember, it matches with the plot line. So when you press on remember, which is supposed to be load, and in the load screen, you can see it's written, I don't want to remember. So it's literally blocking you from loading the game. And according to the plot, it makes sense. Yeah, she's in such a stressful like situation. She's in such her mentally unstable situation. She doesn't want to remember her past, and it's like blocking you from doing that. And the way it did that is pretty funny, as interesting as well. They did it like in a very rough way. The letters were done in a very like rough way, as if someone scribbled something into the screen, something like that. Yeah, and then not only that, the things that starts happening from that point onwards, Gojo realizes what he's actually playing. He realizes that all these characters that he had been talking with, they're actually a figment of her mind. These people don't exist. It's just her freaking out, and just she's like in some kind of like a hospital bed. You can see she has tried multiple times to cut herself. There's like a lot of marks on her hand. She has been eating human remain, those people's their remains, trying to be close to them, trying to get them back. Obviously trying to become one with them. And then there was, what else? There was that whole revelation of her past, which is pretty dark. The whole section about her mother and her father, where her father abused her as a kid, as you can see, and her mother didn't really do anything to stop it. Yeah, so all those things back to back. Gojo's like, what the hell is this? So it's a psychological horror game, basically. Not only horror, like obviously horror is like, oh, like jump scare, ooh, like, oh, this is pretty scary. It's psychological horror. It messes up your mind as well. So, right, that is Gojo's first experience with a game like this. And it all makes sense why Marin's friends were so excited, and they were like, oh, definitely, like, report to us after you play it. Oh god, that's funny. Yeah, so it's pretty funny. I have to say, like, I like how they, like, all these, I've said this before as well, like, the anime, the games that they have made up in this story, like the different animes that we have seen, they're pretty damn solid, actually. Like, they're actually pretty damn solid. Like, I know they take like references from a lot of games. I remember in season 1 as well, I think, like, there were like a lot of animes that we have seen in the show in My Dress Up Darling, like the characters that they cosplay, they have like a lot of resemblance to a lot of like actual anime characters. Like, there's that girl, like, the girl with that Marin cosplays. I think it was the second cosplay, or was it the I think it was the second cosplay, with the hat and the, like, the officer uniform. That is literally like a, I guess you could say it's a reference from, I don't know, maybe like recreators or 86, something like that, one of the characters. I would say recreators, more recreators, because the character looked exactly like that. Yeah, it's recreators. The hair was like white and everything. The officer uniform was very similar to that. So, and a lot of other this season as well, we had the bunny girl, like cosplay. Obviously that was, obviously, like, it's a bunny girl character. We've seen a lot of bunny girl character, but one of the most famous bunny girl characters in anime is obviously what's her name, um from bunny girl senpai. What's the girl's name? Sakurajima Mai. Yeah. um you know so these, like, they take like references from there and then make these, like, kind of like thing. Oh yeah, the Rei Sama. And that was definitely like a more of a Kaichowa Maid Sama slash Oran High School Host Club fusion. This one, this coffin, this is definitely, I think they took a little bit of reference from Doki Doki Literature Club, and maybe a little bit from Corpse Party or something like that, like the game style and the pixelated, art. Yeah, it was something like that, like the whole story and everything. So yeah, they do it, and they make like really like a very solid type of a game slash anime that they make in this story in itself. It's pretty engaging. This game that they call Coffin is actually pretty engaging if you get to like see. We saw a little bit of it, so it actually has a very engaging plot and a very horror type of a setting. So yeah, right. Oh damn, I remember being like, like, I don't know if you have played. A lot of people probably haven't played it. Um, but this whole thing of, like, they were like, the main girl was like eating like body parts, right? And as we saw, and she was like, oh, we're going to become together and something. That really reminded me of another plot of another game that I played, visual novel slash eroge, I guess you could say. Not really eroge, but yeah, eroge. It's Kara no Shoujo. It has a plot line. It's like a murder type story, and it's so damn disturbing. And the revelation at the end as to who the criminal is and what he was doing and why he was doing all of this is pretty damn disturbing. It's like so disturbing that it's just, like, yeah, it's as far I don't remember properly. As far as I can remember, the criminal was like collecting body parts from the murders that he was committing or something like that. And I think, the revelation why he was doing it was pretty damn disturbing. I'm not going to say anything. I do remember what it was, why he was doing it, but I don't know if someone hasn't played it and wants to play it. I don't want to spoil them, but it's pretty damn disturbing. And the reason why that character was doing it, it really reminded me of, this whole section really reminded me of that. The psychological horror part was pretty on point to that. So that type of thing. So it's a solid game, I would say. Like, this coffin, and Gojo was like, God damn, what the hell am I watching? What the hell am I playing? Oh boy. But yeah, that was pretty good. And so yeah, so that was the first part. While all of this was going on, mine was just asleep. Obviously, mine freaked out a lot before, thinking what's going to happen, what's Gojo going to do, and all that. But then she fell asleep, and then Gojo Gojo didn't sleep at all. He didn't have any plan to sleep, but I doubt he would have been able to sleep at all, in that moment as well. Right. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I really like the whole, he cannot go back to the save game. Uh, yeah, it really reminded me of the whole Doki Doki Literature. I remember in Doki Doki Literature Club, it was something like, later on when Monica comes in, becomes like the main character in the whole thing. If you try to load the game, they kind of say something like, I think Monica says something like, "Oh, I'm already here. You don't need to go anywhere, so you don't need to load the game," or something like that. She says when you press the load button, she literally says that, And and I remember like I pressed the skip button as well to skip her dialogue at that part, and she even blocked that. She said something like, "Oh, why are you trying to skip my dialogue? I'm here. You don't have to skip anything. Let's talk." And so many things was so weird and creepy. It's like when the game knows that, like, I think Gojo said something like that, and he's right. When the game gets into your head, that's when it becomes freaky. And that was something like that. There's one thing that really freaked me out in Doki Doki Literature Club. I remember, my computer name is actually like my original name. I've put it like that. So I remember when I was playing, and when Monica comes in, she uses that name, and that's actually my original name, my actual name. And for a moment, my heart actually stopped. I was like, how the hell does this girl know my actual name? And then it clicked, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's because my PC name is literally that. But it gave me a heart attack for a moment because, like, that is my actual name. For a moment, I got so freaked out. I was thinking, how the hell does she know my actual name? But oh my god, so that's what happens, and that's what happened with Gojo. As he said, if it gets into your head, it becomes a psychological horror experience. Yeah, if you haven't played any type of games like this, psychological horror, you should do so. It's a very unique experience. When it happens, like, good lord, you're just freaked out. It's not even horror at this point. It's just weird and uncomfortable. Like, that's what it is. Horror is like, oh yeah, I'm getting scared, like someone's jump scaring me or something, I get freaked out, I got, that's horror. This is like horror from the inside. You're like questioning, like, what the hell is going on? Why is it so weird and uncomfortable? So yeah. So anyways, so that was the first part, and then we had the second part where Mine wakes up and she realizes what's going on because she sees the energy drink and she's like, oh, so that's what it was. Yeah. And then, like, all that stuff. Then Mine, like, starts thinking, like, what should I do? Like, I was kind of anticipating, yes, previous night, because I thought whatever would have happened, we would have gone out with each other from that point onwards. But now that I know the reality is that I haven't confessed or done anything. And I'm afraid of doing that because if some way or the other Gojo's like, oh, I don't see you like that, you're just my friend, it's done for. And like, she was thinking about it continuously so much that in her head she has this whole simulation of how she's going to confess, how Gojo's going to reject her, and how, like, day by day Gojo's going to stop talking to her and just avoid her, and she'll be all alone, which made her even more depressed. So she was just, yeah, bummed out. She asked her friend about it, and it didn't really help that much. And right, and then you can see a time comes when she's like, oh, you know what, whatever, I'll just forget about it. But then she goes to Gojo's place, and Gojo shows her how he made, like, this fried, like, fish, like, with panko, like, crumbs, and how he did that because Marine said in the previous night that she wanted to eat something like oil, like, like something like fried, but obviously she's kind of worried about her, like, calories. So Gojo was like, yeah, let me make something like fish related, because obviously, like, instead of chicken, if you're like doing it, like, yeah, obviously, like, the breadcrumbs, the oil and everything is still there, but still, instead of chicken, it's fish, so it's a lot more, I don't know, like, a lot more, like, less, it has a lot more less calories, and it's a lot more, it's not gonna, you're not gonna put on weight because of that. So he made that, but he's like, yeah. So where was I? Yeah. So yeah, Gojo thought, like, it would be, like, better to eat fish, but apparently you're not supposed to eat that for dinner. Right. So he was like, yeah, and now this kind of made Mine kind of be like, oh, I just said that, like, on a whim, and he thought about it and he did all of this, which made her like feelings for Gojo even a little, like increased more. And she was like, you know what? She ate it with them, and then she asked Gojo to go out to the train station to like um, just like kind of I don't know, like just go to the train station so that she can go back home. But she more was planning to confess there, I think. um but she couldn't, and she just said that, oh, I want to come back to your place again. That's it. Right, but the main thing here is like Mine realizes that up until now she was pretty like casual about a lot of things, because she was like, yeah, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't really matter that much. But now she doesn't want, like, she wants it to succeed. She doesn't want her confession um to not be accepted, for Gojo and her remain as friends. That's why she's hesitating so much. She made up her mind in the end that I'm going to confess after this group cosplay. Yeah, and that was the whole thing. And you know what? It's kind of funny because I was like, good thing she didn't confess, because you see the train was going. If if you're an anime character, you should know this. Do not confess in front of a train station where the train is going, and or in like a fireworks festival. Do not do that. It's not going to work. When I'm going to confess, like in a very convenient way, a train is going to pass and the other person won't be able to hear anything, or a bam, like a big firework is going to explode and the other person is not going to hear anything. It's not going to work out. So confess somewhere far away from a train station, or when it's like fireworks are going off or something. Don't do it then. It's bound to be a failure. Good thing she didn't confess then. It would have been a failure either way. But yeah, now she's convinced. She's like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to confess after all everything ends. The group cosplay, and that is what's going on. So yeah, there you go. And while she was thinking about that, like those guys were trying to pick her up. She was so pissed off. She was like get away from me or something like that. She said. She was like full on focused. Right. Okay. Other than that, a few other things I forgot to mention. For example, Gojo talking about coughing to her friends. Like to those two, Juju's sister and the other girl, and they were like, "Oh, I wanted to know like this is what I wanted to hear. The experience from a complete like a person who's not used to these type of things." And they were like listening to Gojo like say everything, and it was just and we also had that section where Juju and her sister were talking about like the location, and like apparently they like Juju's sister asked her to go and to the location first, because like she has some other things to do, and she was like, okay, so fine. And that part, that small little part we had. And it also kind of makes sense. That is why Juju in the previous episode, I couldn't make any heads or tails of why she was acting like that when they mentioned it was a dinner scene. And okay, it makes more sense now. Now that we know what is going on in the game and what the dinner scene actually is. So yeah, it makes more sense now. Right. So yeah, I think that is it. That was all for today. Yeah, good episode, funny episode. And yeah, Gojo experienced one of his first psychological horror games, and he got traumatized. While Marin, had her own, I guess you could say, things going on in her head. But she has decided she's going to confess after the group cosplay. So let's see. We still have 2 more episodes left, or is it 3? I don't know. Whatever it is, 2 or 3. I think we will have at least 1 more episode after the group cosplay. So let's see if mine actually does it or not, or she backs out again. Let's see. So that is it. That was my reaction to episode number 10 of My Dress Up Darling Season 2. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or if you haven't subscribed, comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. That is it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next week with another episode. Until then, goodbye and have a nice